Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Allison if you're new here, and today I am sharing an entryway DIY makeover. Slightly on a budget, but I didn't really repurpose any furniture in this room, which is what I generally do in my other makeover videos. So it's a little bit different, but definitely still DIY and renter friendly. So if you are in a rental situation like my husband and I are, these hacks and DIYs can work for your space. Now our entryway is a little narrow hallway that passes from our front door, and it's right next to our dining room. I have a whole video on this space, but this wall has just been completely empty since we moved in. You can see I have some paint swatches on the wall and just some other things that I've tried to figure out for like just brainstorming fun things to do on this space, but I am a neutral Nelly and we're going to be keeping it very neutral, white, and bright in this space. I also have a curtain rod that fell to the floor. Our dog Bucky is pretty large and accidentally sat on our curtains one time and ripped it out of the wall. So we're going to kind of be doing a DIY on this entryway, building furniture, and then also refreshing the dining room space to bring it back to its former glory and just kind of completing this whole space once you first enter our house. Now the first thing I am doing in this video is starting to build our entryway table, which is actually a completely customizable storage piece from IKEA. It's called the Besta storage system, and there are a ton of different ways you can configure this. Some people use it as like a TV stand. Some people use it as just like a sideboard buffet table. I'm using it as my entryway table and also a bit of hidden storage. And you'll see pretty soon that we're gonna do an IKEA DIY hack with this. That's really simple, but still brings a lot of texture and warmth to the space. Now, this is not my first rodeo, and I should have known better, but I assumed this day that this was gonna be a just one day start to finish project, that at the end of this day, I started this video maybe around like 10 a.m. or so, but I was so confident I was gonna be done in one day. But guys, putting together this IKEA storage unit took quite a bit of time, effort, elbow grease, troubleshooting, all of the things, and of course, a lot of frustration. You'll see my husband Christian pop in and out of this video to help me with different things. He was more than willing to do this whole project for me because I am relatively pregnant. Not relatively pregnant, I'm very pregnant, but putting together IKEA furniture is like my happy zone. Like I love doing this, so he was happy to come help when asked and when needed, but mostly just let me do this on my own. And spoiler alert, it did not take only one day. It was like 2 to 3 days for doing the bulk of the work, and then honestly, I like to let all of my decor that I decorate with sit for about a week or so before I film my after shots, just to make sure that I actually like it. So here I was overly optimistic about this project, but you can tell just from the number of IKEA boxes I have behind me that we still have quite a ways to go and many problems to troubleshoot. Like for some reason, I could not understand why this front of the drawer did not fit onto the drawer. Turns out I was looking at the completely wrong piece. It's sitting right behind me, and then Christian came and helped me figure that out. And then we got back on track, back to work. But this isn't even like the DIY part. This is just following IKEA instructions and building a piece of furniture. And I'm sure many of you guys can relate to this. Let me know down below in the comments if you can relate to struggling through building an IKEA piece of furniture. My husband and I do know that we cannot build these things together. It is a one-person job. So yes, he came to help me, but we knew that like it would not go any faster if we did this together. Let me know if you're the same way down below in the comments. And also if you're enjoying this video and excited about a new room makeover, make sure you give this video a like and also subscribe for more. I have a nursery makeover coming pretty soon for our baby girl next month, and then tons of other makeover projects and just house projects on my channel. So check those out if you're new here. I would love to see you all stick around. We finally got the drawers completed and put into the table, and now I'm gonna just attach the legs to the bottom and then stand this up. This rug is also new to this space. I wasn't gonna pull it out until the end of the video, but just to protect the white paint, I wanted to leave it out and just kind of protect the flooring. So a little sneak peek of some decor, but now we're finally on to DIYing. For the DIY, I am gonna be adding this cane webbing material to the doors. And a very important step of using this webbing is to first soak it in a bathtub. I did this for about 2 hours, and it just kind of expands the webbing a little bit more and makes it easier to work with. And then also when you're installing it, the webbing will eventually dry, and it dries very taut and very tight, so it gives it a more clean, professional look. So this is a very important prep step for this process. So we did buy the matching doors to this system from IKEA. I'll have all the details linked down below, but also on Etsy, I bought this radio weave cane material. Now this is gonna be replacing the glass area of these doors just to give it a little more texture, and like I said, bring in some more warmth to the space, and also get the look for less. A lot of entertainment stands and sideboard tables are using this material nowadays, but it is very, very expensive. So here we're gonna DIY it on a budget and make it very affordable to do in your own home. Now this hack from IKEA is pretty popular. I've seen it a couple different places, and we decided to buy the glass doors, and we applied some packing tape to them first before we tried to break all of the glass out of it. This was to try to limit how much glass would shatter and make a big mess. And I will say, we did still make a big mess even with taping the doors like this, so do this somewhere you can easily vacuum it and keep it away from children and pets. We still had a lot of glass in the garage, and honestly, we still could do a better job cleaning it up. And this glass is also super tough, so it took Christian a long time and a lot of effort to actually break the glass, but once he did, it shattered beautifully, and he was able to kind of just pound it out of the door frame without harming the door frame. Once the bulk of the glass was out, we did have to go around the edges with a screwdriver and a box cutter and just get out and clean up all of the shards left behind. You definitely want to be very careful while you do this. I did cut myself a little bit during this process, but overall, I'm very glad we did this. You just have to be careful and diligent while you're doing this because there are little bits of glass absolutely everywhere. So we spent probably 20 or 30 minutes just cleaning up the edges and then pulling the glass shards out, and we didn't get them perfectly clean. So I ended up going in with this Elmer's wood filler. You see me use this in a lot of my DIYs, and because these doors were white and the wood filler is also a solid white color, we're not gonna have to worry about painting this back. It was a close enough match, and this kind of just fills in the hole that the glass was previously sitting in, and also covers up any sharp edges of glass left behind. So if you're doing this DIY, this is a very, very important step to make it safe and also friendly for any visitors to your house. But now we're just going to repeat the process with the second glass door that we have, with Christian breaking it while I am working on cleaning up and also filling in the first door. With the doors fully prepped and dried and the wood filler all good to go, I pulled the cane webbing out of the bathtub and spread it out between 2 towels to try to flatten it out a little bit. It didn't do very much, but it was enough to kind of hold it in place so I can trim them down to size and then go in with a staple gun to fully secure them in place. Now the staple gun wasn't the most efficient way of doing this. I feel like the staple gun, it just didn't bite very well through the weave and into the wood, but it definitely did the job for this DIY, and that's honestly all I can ask for. I know I'm not a professional furniture refinisher. I wasn't trying to resell this to anybody, and for our home, it worked perfectly enough. I also grabbed some clamps to help pull the weave really, really tight, because you definitely want to make sure that as you're going around and securing the cane webbing, however you choose to do so, with glue or the staple gun, you just want to make sure it's very tight and very taut, because this material is kind of like fabric. If you want it to look tight and professional, you're going to have to make sure that you're focusing on that a lot. secured the other door off camera and then started to clean up the edges. You want to cut this down as close as possible to the staples that you attached it with because these are going to be getting in the way of the doors closing. So to have more of a flush finish, you definitely want to trim it pretty tightly. These doors were also super challenging to screw into the storage unit, so I called Christian in to once again help me. And you might be able to tell from the lighting, it is much later in the day. We had actually gone to Home Depot to pick up something that we forgot for this project, and it just takes longer than you always think. So whenever doing a DIY project like this, give yourself lots of time, lots of grace, and lots of patience, and maybe have a person or two hanging around prepared to help you when you need it, because I would not have been getting it this far along in the project this day without all of Christian's help for sure. The next day, we moved on to smaller projects, like the curtain rod that was yanked out of the wall. This was also something that I let Christian take care of. We have some weird studs up above these window frames. I'm not quite sure how they work, and I just knew and remembered it being a challenge to get them up the first time. So he just took down and then remounted the curtain rod holder a couple inches to the side, and then I got this little nifty 3-in-1 tool for patching holes in the wall. It has the filler and spackle in the tube. It has a spatula for the end, and then also the cap of it is the little sander that you use. So I used this to fill the holes that got ripped out. Also did a little bit of touch-up paint and then put the old curtain rod back up, good as new, and dusted off a ton of dog hair. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, you might have picked up that these curtains had just been sitting on the ground there for over a month, probably 2 or 3 months at this point. We had been pretty lazy about this. Another small project I'm working on is replacing this broken plate. When we first got Bucky over a year ago, he had a cone on from his neuter surgery and it got caught in this plate and actually broke it. So we had that broken for over a year, so it was good to replace that. And then I'm also going to take the same touch-up paint and go start painting over some paint swatches I did in this room, and also just scuff marks and just little touch-ups that need to be done in this space. Now that the room is all reset, it's time to start decorating. My favorite part, because all the hard work is done and now it's just kind of the fun part. So the first thing I wanted to do was hang this mirror up on the wall. I just had Christian kind of hold it up and model it for me in a couple of different spots, and then he was an angel and hung it for me. This mirror is from Target. I will have it linked below, like most things that I used in this video. So if you're ever looking for something, check the description box down below. It's probably linked there, and if it's not there, just let me know, leave a comment. I'm pretty good at helping you guys find these things for yourself too. But once this gets hung up, I'm gonna start playing with some other smaller decor pieces. And a lot of things that I brought into this space were bought new, like the table was new, the runner was new, the mirror, and this fake plant I'm about to show you. But I also really recommend just shopping your house. There's normally lots of little decor pieces spread out throughout our homes, and it can be fun to kind of just shop your own space and rework your space, because sometimes maybe you have too much decor on one bookshelf. So simplifying that bookshelf frees up that space and makes it look nicer, and you don't have to go buying more decor. So I did shop my house a little bit for this project. You'll see later on, maybe you can spot 1 or 2 things on top of this table that I grabbed from somewhere else in the house. But I always love to recommend shopping your space and your own home first before going out to a store to go buying things. Bucky was clearly a big fan of the rug. Both The lamp and this artificial plant are from Target also. Target was kind of my one-stop shop for this DIY project. I wanted to keep the shopping aspect of it very simple. And here I'm also going to play around with a plant holder, or like a plant stand I have in this corner of the dining room. I was hoping to get a taller plant for this project, but I don't want to spend an arm and a leg, so I was very happy with this affordable option. It was only $50, I think, from Target. But here are some before and after shots of this space for you guys to enjoy. I can't believe it started off at such a blank slate. That was honestly a little bit of rough. Lots of paint swatches, curtains on the ground, broken plates, and just this whole space not being utilized. And now it's such a joy to walk into our home and see this light, bright, airy furniture. I have already been showcasing sneak peeks over on my Instagram, so make sure to head over there if you guys are not following me over there. But I want to thank you all for following along on this journey. Let me know down below what your favorite part of it was, or if you're going to try this DIY yourself. I would love to hear from you guys or your experience if you did this DIY already. But enough blabbering. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!